Hi, everybody. I just want to make sure you can hear me, guys. Okay, so let me turn on the Instagram as well. Hi, everybody. It's so nice to see you today, and thank you for being here today. This is our week 5, and this is series on how to adapt to the new normal. Uh, we met 4 times before that, and if you recall, we discussed subjects such as acceptance, staying calm, cool, and collected, which also entails being an observer. Instead of reacting, we are responding. Also, we discussed how important it is to stay grounded and or staying present. So not jumping in the present or future or the past. And then also we discussed pendulums last week. And pendulums is a very exciting topic because it's not very often discussed in the spiritual world, right? So last week we talked about what pendulums are, and I explained to you how they are destructive and how they can destroy one's life, or at least keep one away from creating the life they truly desire. And today I wanted to talk about how to not to participate in a pendulum swing, how to get off that pendulum energy. What do we do? So first of all, pendulums are it's energy vampires, right? So it's about energy and how it's taking away your energy, and it's destructive in that respect that it's just going to take your energy and drain you, and you're not able to create the life you truly desire. So we don't want to participate with those pendulums. Pendulums are also wired towards competition, wired towards attracting more and more people, and they're neutral. They don't care about adherence. They only care about creating energy and swinging back and forth. I also talked last week about that fighting the pendulum is basically participating in the game. So it's either love or hate, support or agreement or disagreement. Either way, it's all the same frequency. And if you are just on the other side of frequency, which is hate, you're equally giving away your energy. So you don't want to do that. And today I'm going to talk about 2 ways to not participate in the pendulum swing, how to not give away your energy. So number 1, ignore. And ignore, I don't mean, I mean not to react, not to let it get you hooked. You don't want to get hooked by the pendulum. And it could be just a conflict. Someone is fighting at you. If you're just getting into their game like this, you're getting hooked. So ignoring is number 1 step if it's possible. And I'll talk when it's a good idea to ignore. There's going to be a second step, which is better than ignore in certain situations. So let's say when you're fighting or hating, it's not ignoring. Ignoring is really just acknowledging that this is pendulum and this might happen, and I just choose not to participate in that pendulum. So let's say someone is trying to fight with you. So you basically, unless it's constructive communication and you need to, but if it's just someone on the street, you might just want to ignore and just walk away, or like a barking dog on the street. You just keep walking and ignoring. You're not letting that pendulum get you hooked. You're not getting on that vibration frequency. You don't want to be on that vibration. So ignoring is the simplest way to get out of those pendulums, right? We need to accept. So acceptance, I talk about acceptance a lot. And if you recall, our first week, we talked about acceptance. Acceptance is constantly showing up in every lesson, every technique you're learning in spirituality, because it's just such a powerful tool. It's really a powerful place to be when you accept what's going on. And like I said, it's not about giving up. Acceptance is about not fighting something that's going to exist no matter how you react to it. It's about not giving away your energy to something that's already there. So let's say you go into a gallery and you look at art on the walls and you don't like it. You don't like pieces. What are you going to do? You're going to get mad? You're going to get angry? No, you're just going to go because it's pointless, right? The pieces, art is going to be hanging on the wall, whether you love it or you don't. So you're just going to either leave or go and find a different exhibit that you like. So same with pendulums or any challenging event in life. You need to accept that it's happening, like traffic. Traffic is a very major pendulum. When you start getting angry and upset, you are just going to add more to that pendulum. And what's going to happen? You're going to be completely exhausted and completely angry, and nothing is going to change. It's not going to help in any way. So acceptance in this respect is a powerful state. You want to accept what's happening. Okay, so second step. So this number one, we ignore. However, not always can you ignore something, right, in life. When the pendulum is a particular situation, you can just walk away and ignore a person, let's say, or a certain, like a boss. You have to deal with the person, right? Boss working in the corporate world, especially if you don't like it, is a very major pendulum, and you'll be tested by that pendulum, especially, like I said, if you don't love working in the corporate environment. So let's talk about it. Second step is a very powerful step. It's not as easy as ignoring, but it's a powerful step in those particular situations. So it's about agreeing. So you accept and agree with the pendulum. You pretend that you are going along with that pendulum. So the pendulum itself as an energetic entity thinks that, oh, you're hooked, you're on that pendulum. However, somewhere along the line, you just release it and drop off. And I'll explain, I'll give you some examples. All right. So again, acceptance is a powerful state. You become aware. You have to become aware. And you see how it all ties back to the other lessons we went over: being an observer, being present, being grounded. You want to be aware. As soon as you start realizing, oh, I'm going to get hooked, you become aware and you just stay calm. Then you decide, okay, I'm going to go alone. It's the easiest way for me to get off this pendulum. So I'm going to agree. I'm going to go alone with it. You pretend. And then once the pendulum thinks that, okay, you're hooked, release. So let's go over a couple of examples. I'll give you a hypothetical scenario and also give you something that happened to me just recently. So hypothetical scenario: a boss calls you in and is giving you some project and you're not sure how to do it. Even the boss herself doesn't know how to approach that project, but they're very set in the way they want that project to go. You don't know what to do. So what do? You agree, and especially if you think, oh, whatever he's telling me, it's probably like a waste of time. It's not even worth it. Why are we doing this? So you choose another way because you don't want to participate in pendulum. You decide to go alone with your boss and say, oh, okay, let's do this project, blah, blah, blah. And then when the boss thinks you're hooked and you're into it, you start asking for advice in a way like, oh, but how do you want this? And what would you do here? So you are basically letting that energy that the boss has exhaust itself when he'll start explaining to you and this and that, and eventually he'll either come to a point where he realizes that there's no point of doing this project, or someone else should be doing it and not you. And believe me, it works. I used that technique so many times in the corporate world when I saw that it was like a waste of time, that project, and I would just sit down and I say, how would you approach this? Yeah, it's very interesting. And I would just like let them go and talk about it and like let it out. And then I would just like go along with it. And then somehow magically, believe me, it happened to me every single time. they would just either say, oh, you know what, let me give it to someone else, you shouldn't, it's too easy for you, you don't need this. Or they'll be like, you know what, I don't know, maybe we should just like not do it. Try it out. It really works. It helped me many times in the corporate world when I thought the project was a waste of time or I didn't know how to do it. When I would sit down with my boss and he would like start and I would say, how would you do it? How blah blah. In the end, he would do the whole project with me right there on the spot. Another scenario that happened to me 2 months ago. I was walking on the boardwalk on the promenade, which was closed at the time, right? It says not allowed because of the virus. My mother, and my baby were walking on the promenade. I figured, you know what? There's no one walking. There's no one here. Why can't I? So as I walk, there is a woman who passes by and she gets really angry at me. She starts yelling, "Oh, this is not allowed. It's against the rules." I look at her and I say, What are you saying?" So first I become very observant and I realize there's this pendulum swinging right around me. And if I just get really on that frequency, which is being angry, being upset, and hating what's happening, it's just going to swing it more and more. And who knows where it's going to take. So instead, I go along. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what you're saying. And then I'm just like drifting away and turning around. I'm like, oh, my baby, blah, blah, blah. And this woman is like noticing that she is just fighting with the space. Her energy completely just like went down and exhausted itself. And she just walked away. And I stayed so calm. It's like it passed me by. I went alone for a few seconds and that's it. And it extinguished. A very good example is martial art, Japanese martial art. I love Aikido. Aikido is fantastic. So it was developed so that not to fight against your attacker. Someone attacks you, they don't want to fight. They are trying to use least invasion, and they're trying to just defend themselves. So what they do, they use the attacker's energy and momentum to fight themselves. So what they do, let's say someone like comes at you and attacks you, in Aikido, they go with that stroke and they go along with it, and then they're like, boom, they let them go, let them fall. It's look it up. It's a really, really cool art, and I love it because it's against fighting. It's against injuries. It's really about defending yourself and protecting the attacker as well. So that's what you do with pendulums, especially when there is a conflict. You just kind of listen in. You like accept. Okay, I acknowledge you, but hey, my energy, my frequency is not going this way. So you're just gonna go yourself this way. Okay, we're very important from Aikido as well, which I love, is number one rule is staying very calm mentally. And that's, we talked about that too, that you want to stay calm, cool, and collected. Same way with pendulums. You stay cool, you become aware of them, and then you choose either one of those approaches that I told you today, which is ignoring or accepting, agreeing, and going along, pretending to go along, and then just releasing it like Aikido martial art. All right, so I think that's it for today. I'm going to skip meditation because I offer meditation on Wednesdays, and I think we're already out of time. So I'll be doing meditation at 9 p.m. on Wednesday. But let me just tell you, next week will be week 6 for us, and we'll talk about your thoughts and how many people are mistakenly believe that thoughts are who you are, and you create your own thoughts. So next week, I'll talk about how your thoughts are not you, and you do not create your thoughts. And once you realize that, it's also a place of power, because you don't let those thoughts, whatever they are, control you. You understand where it's coming from, and you have a choice to change your thoughts. And when you change your thoughts, you change your life. All right. So next Monday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, we'll talk about how thoughts are not you. And today, just to finish, we'll do my personal favorite 4-7-8 breathing technique. You inhale through your nose for 4, you hold for 7, and you exhale through your mouth by 8. And you do it 4 times, 4 rounds. It's called relaxing breathe. It's really powerful, developed by Dr. Vale, and I don't know the magical number, but he says don't do it more than 4 times. Okay, so let's do it together. We're gonna inhale for 4, hold for 7, and exhale through your mouth for 8. One more. Inhale for 4, hold for 7, and exhale for 8. Last one. All right. I hope it was helpful to all of you. Feel free to ask me any questions. And I'm very excited to meet you next Monday to talk about thoughts. If you would love to participate in meditation, which I usually do after breathing exercise, please log in on Wednesday at 9 p.m. I'm going to post it on Instagram as well as on my YouTube channel, okay? Because mainly I do it on YouTube. And sometimes I also go live on Instagram. All right. Thank you, everybody. And have a wonderful rest of your night. And I'll see you all on Wednesday or next Monday. All right. And